Welcome to Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. And on each episode, we will meet a new lawyer and they will share stories of when they went beyond legal counsel for the benefit of their client. My name is Andrew Samlin. I'm the principal of Samlin Wealth, a nationally recognized wealth management firm for lawyers, law firms, and their clients. And let's applaud lawyers who care and learn from them. Today, my guest is Garrett Denniston. He is an attorney with LTKE Law in New Haven, Connecticut, and they focus on personal injury and civil litigation. Welcome, Garrett.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, Garrett, tell us about your law firm and tell us how you came to the law.
So we were founded a long time ago, in 1955, I believe. Bill Lynch, who was a veteran, together with Hugh Keefe, who's still with us, still coming into the office every day, still working. And Hugh was basically a legend of the Connecticut bar. A lot of high-profile criminal cases over the years. These days, I'd say we still do a number of things here, but probably our primary focus is injury cases, death cases, and malpractice, medical malpractice.
Gotcha. And what brought you into the practice of law?
It's an interesting story, and actually, I should say it's probably not an interesting story. I mean, it'd be nice to be able to tell you, that there was a bolt of lightning one day. I think, probably like a lot of people that end up as trial lawyers, certain my parents told me a million times, you should be a lawyer. And we have family friends that we had some family friends that were lawyers. So that probably contributed to it. I went to the University of Connecticut for undergrad and for law school. And, I had a psychology degree, which I think, like a lot of the liberal arts degrees, is tough to do much without, further schooling. So, I took the LSAT, and I mean, to be honest, I don't regret it a single day, really.
That's great. And by the way, before we got started, and you mentioned that there's 100-pound, 1-year-old dog in your office today.
Yeah, I've got her in the other room. She's sleeping away. She's a Great Dane. She's about a year old, and I adopted her, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago. She does a lot of sleeping, outside of a couple bursts of energy here and there. Her name's Lola.
Okay.
And, they're nice enough here that they let me, bring her in and sleep on her bed in my office.
Gotcha. So you have a great client story where you went above and beyond. Share that with us.
Yeah, so this is an ongoing case. It's tragic in a sense, although nobody was actually harmed. This is sort of outside of, anything that I would typically do, but I felt bad for the woman. Her name is Heather Honor, and in, I'd say 2004 or so, she joined the Army at 17, and she joined it with her mother's permission on the condition that she joined as a reserve service member. At the time, with everything going on overseas, I don't think that distinction meant much. So she was called up almost immediately, and she was injured in an IED attack. I believe she may have lost, some of her fingers. I think they were able to later attach them. And apologies to her if I'm getting the exact nature of the injury wrong. But she comes back to Wallingford, Connecticut, which is down the road a little bit, and ends up going back on active duty, where she remained an active duty service member until, I think, last December. So actually, I believe it was this year that her active duty stopped. So in December of this year, she still was active duty, and she had a storage unit in Wallingford. The storage unit had her Purple Heart, had her bloodstained uniform, Holocaust, family members that had Holocaust, survivors that sent her letters. She described it as her entire life up to, age 21, right? So there was a mix-up with the card that she'd been using for 20 years. Her identity had been stolen. She thinks this is how it happened, and the card stopped working. Well, the owners of the storage unit were aware she was an active duty service member, had been told to contact her or contact her mother, if they couldn't get a hold of Heather, because they've got Heather moving around all over the country. They didn't do any of that. They trashed the stuff. We think they may have burned some of the stuff, and they took the Purple Heart to a pawn shop. So the pawn shop owner, it was a veteran as well. He contacted a friend, and in about 5 minutes, this couple, an older couple, was able to find Heather online. So she did get the Purple Heart back, but had now lost everything else. And it also begged the question of, if it was so easy for this couple to find a random stranger to get her stuff back, why didn't the storage unit do the same thing? So her mother called initially, and I talked to the mother, and then subsequently Heather, and I felt terrible for her. So I got involved, in a case that's, I'd say, outside my practice area, but probably outside of a lot of lawyers' practice areas in terms of storage units. And I did some digging, and it turns out that the Service Members Relief Act, which is a federal law, prohibits you from even using the normal procedure to dispose of units after non-payment. You actually have to go into court and get a judge to order that you can do that when it comes to an active duty service member. Obviously, they didn't do that. So we brought a claim under the Service Members Relief Act, which allows for punitive damages, among other things, and a host of other, state and common law claims. It's ongoing. We're going to try to mediate it soon. I mean, I think the challenge in Connecticut is generally, although we're arguing this is an exception, you can't claim emotional distress damages from property if it's solely an injury to property. But our backup to that is, in terms of the value of the stuff, it's priceless to Heather. But establishing and quantifying a number, for your treasured possessions like that is, challenging. But at this point, we're proceeding with the case. We do have a mediation, set up, and that'll hopefully occur in the next few months, and maybe we can get it resolved. But otherwise, we're going to claim it. We're claiming it to a jury trial, and we're going to put it on. And I think, there's probably not a jury in the state, it's going to have anything but respect for this woman, and just be horrified by what she had to go through.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, we're we're participating in the Lawyers Who Care video show podcast that highlights attorneys that go above and beyond. Today, my guest is Garrett Denniston. He is an attorney with LTKE Law in New Haven, Connecticut. Garrett, just so people can get in touch with you, can you share with us your phone number twice?
Sure. The phone number for the firm is 203-787-0275. And that's 203-787-0275.
And Garrett, so that people can get in touch with you, web address and social media information, if you have any.
We are on social media, Facebook and Instagram. I think in both cases, it's Lynch, Traub, Keefe, and Arante, which is the full name of the firm. And then our website is ltke.com. Got it.
Everyone, again, this has been the Lawyers Who Care podcast. If you're an attorney or know one that might be appropriate, please feel free to reach out to us at success@samoanwealth.com. That's success@samoanwealth.com. My guest today, Garrett Denniston. Garrett, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Andrew. I appreciate it. And I'm glad I was able to, get this story out there a little bit.
Amen. Thank you.